Hello, ladies, gentlemen. It is me, Sacred G. I am not joined today by anybody. I am going to react to a near-complete analysis of Skyrim Part 1 of 5 by Creetosis, and this is going to be the final video I will do on Creetosis, and the last and only one. Because I could care less what Creetosis has to say. I've moved on from the Fallout 4 stuff, so... And this came out, by the way, on the 11th of November, 2021, and this is supposedly part 1 of 5. There hasn't been a second part to this, so I doubt he's going to recreate this video or make any of the future parts because he probably doesn't know what the fuck he talks about. So, without further ado, let's get this motherfucking show started. So, oh, he has no closed captions on this video. Isn't that funny? Near-complete analysis of the Elder Scrolls V's, written by Creetosis and Seth Drescher. Skyrim.
10 years. It's been 10 years since Skyrim first released, and I thought
this was made on the anniversary, just to let you know.
Cover it for its 10th anniversary because, well, there's been criticism of Skyrim. None of the ones I've seen really go as deep as I'd like. This is the first part in a 5-part series. In part 1, I'll mostly be covering the mechanical aspects of the game, such as the character build, combat, and so forth. Part 2 will cover the main story,
which you haven't made. Do you really need to part this up in order to actually review this fucking game? Because let's be honest, it's a huge open world game, but guess what? It's not that fucking... like that long to to critique. I mean, I don't know what the hell you expect.
Story in the Civil War.
Okay.
Part 3 will cover the 4 factions.
They're not out yet. He keeps telling his fans this too. Oh, well, I'm making them, but he spent just recently did a fucking 4-hour stream reacting to somebody liking Fallout 3 again, and it was poor old Mr. Matty. So yeah, okay. So, yeah,
4.
Why are you bringing this up? You didn't even make the rest of these. You're too much of a pussy to do it.
Cover the side quests and Daedric quests.
Or you're too stupid
and
for
part
your own
5
good.
will cover the DLCs. As much as I'd like to tear into the main story and world building right away, it's necessary to discuss the mechanical aspects of the game first, as they end up impacting the overall experience. Now, to get this out of the way immediately, we are not telling you that you aren't allowed to like, or even love, Skyrim. We aren't some weirdos that want to destroy you for liking something we think is objectively bad.
Oh, yep, you are a weirdo. And also, I wouldn't just say weirdo, I'd say creep as well. I mean, who in the fuck would say that and then follow up a sentence much like this? Good start, dumbass.
That last part is important. Objectively bad.
You don't, I don't even think he knows that definition. At all. Like, how is it objectively bad?
Doesn't mean you can't have subjective feelings or baggage that you bring along to the table.
No, it's subjective all the way around, man. The reviews prove your fucking claim right there wrong. Like, there's more positive reviews for this game than there are negative reviews. Okay? So I don't know, what do you mean by objectively bad? Because, oh yeah, that's right. This came out in 2011. He's reviewing it like it came out just a few months ago.
Makes it special to you. Was Skyrim the first game?
You're just a creep, Creetosis. You should call yourself Creetosis. That is such a good name for you, man.
Played with your father or mother, or brother or sister?
That's so weird to say. Well, we're not some weirdo who wants to hate on what you like, but at the same time, I'm gonna say that the game's objectively bad.
Skyrim help you escape from a more cruel situation in the world.
Well, shut the fuck up. You have no room to fucking talk about that. I know you, but your parents both must have touched you to be this fucking stupid. And clearly, I don't think anything, according to your channel, can made you escape from that shit.
Those are things that make it subjectively special to you. We don't want to take those memories and experiences from you. What we are here to do...
Well, you kind of are. You're saying it's an objectively bad game. And that whole word is so stupid when it comes to entertainment. Are you saying all of us fucking think alike? And that we could tell this is a really bad game? Because you gotta think, if it was objectively bad, wouldn't you think that we would all see it? Even the people you fucking rip on and say are stupid and being a part of the issue? Fucking A, dude.
Is to objectively look at Skyrim.
You're not. I mean, you saying it was bad was an opinion.
What it actually has in its gameplay, in its story, in its world, or in many cases, what it is missing from all of those, and critique that. It is just unfortunate we have seen Bethesda's trend of dumbing their games down further.
Okay, how are they dumbing them down?
And further.
Do any of you know what the fuck that means? Dumbing down? Like, RPG, dude, I just watch people play this game blind and tell me if that's dumbed down. Because I've seen people have a hard time kind of grasping how to play the game. You know, I don't even think it holds your hand that frequently as you motherfuckers would like to believe. Because you guys are just RPG snobs. And it's actually such a wide array of definition because apparently The Witcher 3s are considered an RPG, the greatest of all time. And I bring it up because the haters usually try to say that The Witcher 3 is a better game. Even though The Witcher 3 would be considered, like, you have a predefined character in The Witcher 3. Isn't that what you motherfuckers don't want in these games? Like, how is that better? Like, I'm not saying it's a bad game at all. I'm just saying the argumentation for that's retarded as hell. I know that's not what Creetosis is saying. I'm just saying some people that hate the game bring up The Witcher 3 for God knows why.
I found Skyrim to be especially lacking in quality.
Okay, to you there, dipshit.
Skyrim
What's with these autistic pauses? Like, is your anxiety creeping up on you?
is without a doubt the most successful Elder Scrolls game to date.
Yeah, more successful than the shit that you like, that's
Having
for sure.
been ported to just about every console and re-released so many times it's become a joke that even Bethesda has taken part in.
Alright, I remember this part. Yep, he shows this for some reason. It's not funny. You're saying it's not funny? It ain't funny. Why are you showing this whole meme?
Skyrim, very special edition. Also coming soon to Etch-a-Sketch. Motorola pagers.
More entertaining
And your
than this video,
Samsung smart refrigerator.
However, it's worth
Okay. Now, oops, I will put it back to normal.
mentioning up front that just because something is successful does not mean it's good.
Okay, just because something's not good doesn't mean it's bad. See, like, oh, Jesus, man. Like, are you sure you have a job and you get outside? Or do you consider your job looking around stupid shit on fucking YouTube?
Skyrim is a game with many issues that will be discussed at length.
Yeah, that you can't ignore, and I don't know if you even played the game correctly at all, because all I see you pull up here is the fucking console menu.
Through the course of this analysis series. Now, how could such a beloved game really be so bad?
I just don't think he understands the genre he's talking about. I really don't. I just don't. Like, oh my god.
Well, there could be any number of reasons for that, but I think
okay, you don't have a set-in-stone reason. Good job. You don't fucking know. You just basically said that. Wow. Saying it's bad, but you don't know why it is? Wow. There's many reasons for that. What a fucking retard. Did you fall on your head when you crawled out your mom's pussy when she gave birth to you? Holy shit.
the easiest explanation is that most audiences simply aren't too critical of the media they consume, As long as something smells nice on the surface, most people will miss the stench of rot deep beneath.
Oh my god, no. No, I don't even think you know that for a fact.
I also think people have become so used to modding their games to hell and back.
And this is the worst example to show what kind of mods they're using, dude. They're not using these fucking really weird, weebish mods, dude.
Out what the base game is actually.
I don't use this shit. I actually hate mods that change, like, you know, this dragon to fucking Thomas the Tank. I think it's so immersion breaking. It's not funny either, really, not to me at least.
And I'd argue this is true for most Bethesda games at this point. Seriously, the amount of work that goes into the unofficial Skyrim...
Who cares, dude? It's your choice to install that shit or not. And I recently played without the patch, and I really had no issues, so I don't know what in the fuck you're on about, man. I don't know, I think maybe you modded your game to hell and back.
Skyrim patch cannot be understated. It fixes so many issues with the base game that it's safe to say that by using this mod alone, you are no longer having the vanilla Skyrim experience.
How so? Like, are you just gonna say that? It's literally patching the game. How is that not having the vanilla experience? Does it add more quests that the base game didn't have? Does it add more weapons? No. As a matter of fact, I could say safely that you don't need the fucking patch to enjoy Skyrim. Like, yes, I know it has issues. I understand that it took a different direction than the other games. I understand this. Okay? But him sitting here bringing up mods for this apparent supposed analysis is just laughable.
The UESP has documented nearly...
This doesn't matter. You're probably not. You're just not going to explain how the unofficial patch changes the experience at all. As a matter of fact, you don't even need it for the base game. A lot of the mods a lot of the popular ones require you to have this. Like, who cares, dude? This game's too open for you, and you clearly don't understand that when you make an open world game with many moving parts, you're gonna have more issues than you fucking... Like, Bethesda bites more they can chew when it comes to their world designs, because they have a lot of moving parts, and it seems to come with issues most of the time.
800 pages of things within the game that have fixes thanks to the unofficial Skyrim
Doesn't matter.
Patch. And keep
Why are you bringing this up?
in mind.
What's mods have to do with the vanilla experience? And I don't even know if you are playing the vanilla game. You're using console commands.
Many of these pages include more than a single fix. Well, some fixes can seem minor, like assigning the wrong sleeping arrangements to the wrong person, which can cause the AI to hang. Others are absolutely catastrophic.
Yeah, but I've never witnessed these.
Like having perks not actually work if you play the wrong fucking race.
Then create a new save. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. It's the end of the world if you have to do that.
The mentality of mods will fix it has become so ingrained into the minds of Bethesda fans.
That's a wild claim, bro. And he's gonna use Oxhorn. I've seen this part.
It's been a fairly common defense for these games.
Which is also taken out of context.
From criticism, to the point people actually argue that these games...
It's funny, Oxhorn's his only fucking... his only source to this, and it's like...
are more modding platforms than actual games, which is absurd and ridiculous. Quite often you'll see discussions, particularly about Skyrim and Fallout 4, about what kind of mods you'll need.
I've seen people say mods suck. I even know somebody personally who, which I don't think Creetosis knows what that means, since it seems all of his friends are online. Because that's probably where he pitched his tent, is on the internet. I know somebody personally who did not like playing mods at all. And there are subreddits talking shit about mods. Like, what are you talking about? It doesn't matter anyways because it's all online. It's not speaking for everyone.
Make the game good. I think many of these...
Yeah, make the game... Mods do? No, they enhance the experience, you fucking idiot. Do you not know when you mod a game that is well received, it's enhancing the experience? I mean, if the game was that bad, mods wouldn't fucking save it. That's my assessment with that, at least. I just think if the game was that objectively bad, we would all know it, and the modding community wouldn't be as big for it as it is now. That's what I think.
These people mistake their highly modified experiences for the content the game actually contains and judge it.
You're so dumb. If you really can't tell the difference between the mod and the fucking game, Jesus, you must be playing with mods that just completely overhaul Skyrim, which is fine. But I don't think that's the case. I don't know.
Based on that.
Some people, yeah, but not everyone.
Instead, what's even funnier is when people argue...
is the fact that you still need to release the other parts to this video, and you kind of are a pussy about it. And you spent 3 hours going over Vincent Martin's video. Oh yeah, and we can't forget that you brought me up out of the blue, even though the video was about Vincent Martin, but whatever. Alright. But this whole section's so dumb. Like,
that Bethesda doesn't rely on modders, and in the same breath say they don't fix bugs because modders did it first.
I don't think Bethesda relies upon modders to fix the bugs in their own game, even though...
I don't either, and I'm going to explain why. The reason I don't think they rely on modders is because what if they didn't see these bugs when they were fucking testing it? Clearly, Creetosis thinks all humans think the same. Because remember, the word objectively bad when it comes to entertainment means that we all know it's bad. God.
The way it works out, that tends to be the case. It tends to be the case that modders will fix these bugs, and then Bethesda just doesn't see the need to fix them themselves because the bugs are already fixed.
This is
no, and he's also missing that Oxford also said that that it's because Bethesda could have missed them. Why didn't you include that? Oh yeah, that's right. You gotta push a narrative. And with this really shit quality of a fucking video.
I think I wanted to get out of the way immediately, because it's unfortunately an important part of the discussion, which I'll sum up simply with, if a game needs mods for it to be good, then it's...
No, it doesn't! There are people that I know in real life, Creetosis, if you're watching this, or any of you fucking of his echo-chambered fans, that supposedly don't watch my videos, but they say my videos shit. It's like, okay. Anywho, for you motherfuckers too, you don't need mods to fucking make Skyrim good. It just enhances the experience. Like, look at all the mods that come out. Like, more fucking magic. Come on, man.
Probably not a good game.
Oh, fuck you. That's because you don't like it. Why even spend the time analyzing a game you don't care for?
Besides casual fans and modders, there's also the typical fanboy excitement.
10 out of 10, and it easily earns the badass seal of approval.
Well, maybe that's a bit unfair to Joe.
Yeah, you don't say. Why are you including these random YouTubers? Where's articles, man? From Bethesda themselves. Did they state this is what's going on? Well, I mean, they probably wouldn't if it was. I know that for a fact. They'd keep it down low.
If the game isn't absolutely perfect, surely it's still an 8 or 9 out of 10, right?
I'd say it's between, for me at least, a 6 to 7. I don't think it's that perfect. Why are you showing this? Bro, this is an 11, or, yeah, you said 11-year-old game. Or 10. This came out around the anniversary, and I think you did it intentionally to shit on the game. That's my fucking, again, assessment. I think that's what you did, is made this video during the anniversary to shit on it. And you're treating it like it's a game that came out months before that. Like it's a recent game in 2021. God, you're so stupid, man. Holy shit.
You best be thankful
Why are you
fucking
using,
saved
what's
you.
This?
What? What? What do you mean?
Just minor things. Why are you showing this?
In terror.
God damn. I could actually never get past this part. It just, these videos are so bad.
Will be free.
But I don't know what I'm talking about.
Studying the things. And
I just like showing, like, YouTubers as my source because I'm such a fucking loser and don't know how to do research.
You came. My mother, she died. I'm all alone now. So they sent me to that terrible orphanage in Riften. Honor Hall. The headmistress is an evil, cruel woman. They call her God kind. But she's not kind. She's terrible to all of us. So
Serrata's performing the sacrament!
Why are you showing this, dude? Like, this knowing that he's trying to say it's bad, but not taking into account it's a 10-year-old game. Made for the PS3. After the PlayStation 2, you dip. Holy fuck. I don't even think I'm gonna finish it this time. Epic battle. Ooh.
Holy shit. Holy fucking shit.
This. It's only one person. You're using Vine sauce. That's it. Huh. That's interesting, dude. It's probably because you couldn't find any other examples.
Someone
nice.
do something.
Do what? What are you doing? How are you doing that? Are you... I fucking give up.
Right?
Oh, look at that bitrate, dude. That's terrible.
Oh no.
Oh no. What are you talking about?
Well, it's easy to point out some lazy animations or weird glitches that say the game is bad, but we're not here simply because of some jank animations. The mechanic...
Because of the fact it's literally a 10-year-old game, or I think he said 11. I don't remember when the fucking anniversary was, and quite honestly don't care, because if we're gonna be real, Skyrim's about to have another one this year. Is I think gonna be 12? I don't know.
Story, world, and characters are busted on pretty much every level.
Oh, really?
To the point it seems like Bethesda took the laziest
To
possible...
me, this just seems like he's making, just like, saying, he's guessing what... I just don't understand what he's doing.
approach to making this entire...
This is 7 minutes of just fucking IQ lowering sludge.
game. Another note I have to make up front is that I can't really talk about the background lore in much detail, nor can I really talk about potential retcons. This is because Elder Scrolls lore is essentially a set of tangled Christmas lights.
No, they're not. I'll tell you that.
I have neither the time nor patience to untangle it.
No, it's because you probably didn't play the game thoroughly enough, did ya? That's probably it.
This is largely because Bethesda seems to operate on an anything goes policy when it comes to lore, where they seem to have little to no restrictions on what can be done with.
It's funny how you said you don't know anything about the lore, but here you are making a guess of how Bethesda wrote the lore. What are you, like, talking about? You sound so stupid here, retard. Jesus. Damn, you must have really fell on your head at birth. Like, seriously. Or either you slipped out of your mom's arms, I mean, because, you know, all that fucking liquid and shit that comes out, or that's all over you when you are born. Probably too slick and you fell right on your head, on the soft spot, too.
Even if it conflicts with what has already been established in other games. At least as far as the background lore is concerned.
Yeah, you don't know shit about it, so I'm just going to ignore this because you're just making wild-ass assertions. And that is not what critics do. They look at the game as a whole, not comparing it to predecessory games. And giving credit where credit's due. You're literally just shitting all over Skyrim. Dude, this whole video, 8 minutes of you shitting on this game. And you are a weirdo. That's probably why you made an 8-hour video, because you're so weird. Like, that's kind of creepy, too. Like, why would you... Look at this. You're using exploits and fucking console commands. 1 billion gold. And 1,000 carry weight, or however many you put. You have infinite carry weight.
That is. They've tried to cover for this with the excuse of the unreliable narrator.
I don't care. You don't know. You just said you don't know the lore. I'm speeding this up. This is just fucking dumb.
Good thing if used correctly, but the result here is background lore being ignored because the developers want to do something else entirely. As such,
you don't know that. You just fucking said. We'll go back, actually. Fuck it. We're gonna go back to where he said that he doesn't know the lore because they're tangled meth the Christmas lights. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, why are you still sitting here talking about the lore when you just said you don't know fuck all about it? Like, the fuck, dude? We're going back so I can show
pretty much every level. To the point it seems like Bethesda took the laziest possible approach to making this entire game.
Yeah, okay, where's the source for that? Do you have anything, any article linked where Bethesda might have slipped up? No? So you can't prove that.
Another note I have to make up front is that I can't really talk about the background lore in much detail,
look.
nor can I really talk about potential retcons. This is because Elder Scrolls lore...
He doesn't know it. He's just saying he doesn't know the lore.
Essentially a set of tangled Christmas lights, and I have neither...
See, that's why he won't go talking about it, because first of all, each game takes like a few hundred years after the other. These people are just such fucking whiny little bitches. I
the time nor patience to untangle.
Like, if I was Creetosis' parent, I would have killed myself. I would have fucking committed suicide in front of him, so that way he has a reason to be all angry.
This is largely because Bethesda seems to operate on an anything-goes policy when it comes to lore, where they seem to have little to no restrictions on what can be done with it, even if it conflicts with what has already been established.
You even said that you won't talk about the lore, but you're making assertions that they fucked it up, and you just continue to talk
in other
about
games.
that?
At least as far as the background lore is concerned, that is. They've tried to cover for this with the excuse of the unreliable narrator, which can be a good thing if used correctly, but the result here is background lore being ignored because the developers want to do something else entirely. As such, the only things that can really be taken as true, as far as the lore goes, is anything that actually appears in the games. Zarek Zacharon did a great video talking about the state of Elder Scrolls lore, and I highly recommend it.
Okay, if you watched a 51-minute video, how can you not talk about the lore? And Zarek doesn't know much about Skyrim, it seems like, either. I don't even think any of you motherfuckers know exactly what RPG means. Because guess what? Skyrim fits in that camp strong and steady. In my opinion, of course.
But the point I'm getting at here is that the Elder Scrolls lore is so fucked beyond belief that there's going to be very little in the way of consistency.
You can't say that. You're not going to go talk about it, so why make these random fucking assertions? They fuck beyond belief. You gotta substantiate that.
See, pretty much across the board. And because this is the case, most major aspects we'll be discussing will likely both have supporting
He has fucking Daedric weapons, all in his inventory. Good job, Creetosis. I think you ruined your Skyrim experience by just using fucking console commands out the gate. What the fuck?
Contradicting pieces of lore based on where you're sourcing
You're still talking about lore, but you weren't going to talk about it because you don't know fuck all about it. I know that for a fact because if you couldn't talk about it, but you watched a video, because I just don't think he understands the game.
Lore from. To learn the lore of the Fallout games, all I had to do was...
What's Fallout now got to do with this? What's Fallout's lore in relation to this?
Play them. To learn the lore of Elder Scrolls, I need to take a fucking college course on it.
No, because you're too slow to comprehend simple things. Seriously, you are. I mean, this is really telling.
And even then, I'd be no better off for the fact that the lore exists in a perpetual state of being...
And I hope I piss off your fans. To the point where they start commenting on my videos, and they actually don't watch the video. And then when I comment back, they're like, oh, well, I'll come back to the video. And then they nitpick everything that I said, and they didn't really watch the other ones. It's funny. I hope they really piss one of your fans off.
ambiguous, nebulous cloud of
Because I
incomprehensible
think all your fans are kind of weird.
sludge, with no one true answer or canon for anything, because it all changes upon the whims of the writers, rather than maintaining any kind of
You don't
logical
know that.
consistency.
He doesn't know this.
With all
He's
that
not showing. With all that out of the way, all this random ass fucking conspiracy tinfoil hat shit that I just said, I'm going to continue on now, which you should have done. You talked about something you literally couldn't talk about, and I don't think you know fuck all about.
out of the way, let's get to it.
Okay, let's do it. Part 1, Character Creation Skills Tutorial. Okay. Let's see what Creetosis is
Like every
gonna say.
Bethesda game since Oblivion, Skyrim starts off with an overly long and unnecessary tutorial sequence that does very little to
Really long? Does it take an hour to complete it? And I know it doesn't take 30 minutes either. I mean, if anyone's gonna sit here and say, well, it's too long, it takes literally 30 minutes. Well, I'm sorry you're too slow at completing the most handheld part of the game. Which, to be honest, makes sense, because most of these open world RPGs has a bit of handholding in the fucking beginning.
help you learn to play the game.
Okay.
Firstly, most weapon types are unavailable from the very start.
Yeah, no shit, because you're supposed to discover this yourself. It's open world. They don't give you fucking anything from the goddamn get-go. You can actually probably complete the tutorial without killing a single soul, just relying on the other NPCs or the other people to do it for you.
With only a sword in the first room of Helgen Keep. Additionally, each race starts off with a basic flame spell and healing spell.
Okay.
Each of the other weapon types available in the starting dungeon have to be looted off the corpses of your enemies, so if you prefer a bow, you have to get through several combat encounters before you can even get one. Though ultimately it doesn't matter if you want to use a sword, mace, or axe, because the weapon classes have been collapsed into 3 simple categories. More on that later. The issue of not getting your preferred weapon of choice to start with could have easily been solved by having starting sets of gear based on the class you picked, but such a thing would require there to actually be classes in the game in the first place. This brings me around to character creation. Quite literally,
How was that bad? So far I heard that they don't start you out with every weapon in the game.
the only aspect of character creation this game has is on which race you decide to play as. While racial bonuses still exist,
Also what build you decide to use.
they generally seem less impactful and significant than they have previously. Each of the races get a bonus 5 points to 5 skills that particular race happens to be naturally gifted in, and 10 points to 1 skill the race specializes in. For example, High Elves, most commonly associated with being skilled magic users, have all their skill bonuses in magic skills. Each race also has a unique racial effect, and some of these don't look like they were thought out too well. For example, Bosmer have a 50% resistance to both disease and poison, and Red Guards only have a 50% resistance to poison. So if that's something you're concerned about, Bosmer will always be a better choice by default.
How is that bad though, man? How is that concerning? Okay.
Argonians naturally get water breathing, which is fine, except for the fact there's barely any use for it in this game. Imperials find a little bit extra gold each time. In a game where the economy is so broken, you'll be swimming in thousands of gold coins if you even remotely sell any loot you find. Khajiit get a 15-point bonus to unarmed damage. Huh, unarmed? Wait, that's not actually a fucking skill anymore, what the fuck?
They have claws, dude.
Bethesda, what are you doing? And orcs. Oh dear. Their unique racial
You're
effect.
sitting on the game. You're just some weird fucking basement dwellery type who likes to sit and watch fucking machines spin in circles as a fucking career because you're too stupid to actually use your brain. Oh, by the way, watching a washing machine spin in circles does not count as a job.
Is to skip a quest to gain access to orc strongholds. Not gonna lie, I completely forgot those even existed. Once you pick a race, your character creation ends immediately. No class choice, no birth sign choice. This is where we come to one
I think you're using mods.
of the biggest
bro.
issues with the RPG mechanics
Maybe. I
of
could
the
be wrong.
supposed RPG. With classes gone, there was no real specialization in character build.
That's restrictive as fuck, dude. That's why they threw attributes into the actual world. There's still attributes, they're standing stones, dipshit. Like, what are you talking about? They threw attributions and classes out the window when you just went over that any race pretty much has certain skills they specialize in. God, do you just talk on an impulse?
Any skill levels you up now, which does nothing to encourage any sort of character build.
What are you talking? Yes, it does. See, this is what I mean. He does not understand role-playing games. He's never played D&D. He likes playing those little kid fucking pixelated CRPG bullshit games. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're terrible. I just personally hate those types of RPGs because they shoehorn you as somebody that you can't create. Not my type of RPG. And clearly, these games to you, Creetosis, are too hard for you to understand. And it's clear.
It's an incredible dumbing down of the RPG mechanics.
Dumbing down, okay.
Oversimplify.
Yeah, but you just literally lied there by saying they don't promote builds. They fucking do. Like, have you not heard of Fudge Muppet? Like, they literally have... I'm gonna go look right now to see how many builds they have. They have a whole playlist full of them. Sorry about this, but, Fudge Muppet Skyrim builds. They're 118 builds. They actually around, I don't know if this is, there's two playlists here, but yeah, they have 118 builds, bro. Like that right there. I know I hate using YouTubers as a source, but I'm saying you can make builds in this game. Like, the fuck are you on about, man? Even base game, you could still have a specific build. Like, right now, I'm having, I made another character, or I got rid of the high elf that I was playing as, who was a female, then I remade the same character, I just made him a straight-up mage. No one-handed, no two-handed, nothing. And, pretty much, my build's just a mage build. And it's fun as fuck to me. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Applying the overall experience. You no longer had to think about what skills would be useful to you, nor did it
What are you talking? Yeah, dude, it could apply to this as well, you fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. You don't think about what skills will be useful for you, because I don't know how to build the character. What are you talking about? Jesus.
encourage picking skills and sticking to them. It's a total free-for-all. Which on paper sounds fine for casual players,
oh god,
but we are
the casual.
Talking about an RPG here.
It's an RPG. It's a role-playing game. You make the character, your role's the Dragonborn, and guess what? If we're gonna look at it from this angle, I don't know if I said this before, but Bethesda's the dungeon master, man. And they decided that your role's the Dragonborn. You get to choose what your reason and what type of person you kind of are. Like, they don't... I don't think Bethesda's philosophy, or at least Todd Howard's, is that you need dialogue to tell you who you are. As I stated before, the actions you can commit in the game kind of speak louder than the words. In real life, too. But that's totally different. Anywho.
Character building should be an extremely important aspect, but Skyrim does...
You could still build a character, fucking retard. Sorry that Skyrim just was too much for brain to comprehend.
It's next to nothing to push the player in pursuing a specific playstyle.
What are you Yes, dude! You clearly are just a narrow-minded motherfucker. You want the class system so that way it reminds you who you play as. So you don't branch out on accident because you don't know how to specifically build a character. Congratulations.
Is your class good at stealth? Well, maybe you want to try and sneak around problems instead of facing them.
You could do that in this game. Oh, jeez.
Is your class a great speaker? Well, you will likely be trying to solve problems with words instead of weapons.
Oh, but you could do that in Skyrim too.
Can your class actually perform magic? Well, you will likely want to pursue learning more magical abilities, thus pushing you towards a Mage's Guild. The limitations of your character will also dramatically change how you play the game overall. Like if you're shit at lockpicking, for example, you're going to need to work around locked doors and chests. Another point from Morrowind, you weren't required to...
Why are you bringing up Morrowind now? Do you want Skyrim to be called Skyrowind? That'd be lame. Like, this game's dated, man. Can you just accept that? Like, it's kind of lived past its lifespan. Like, it's a good game. I could see why, again, people like this. But why bring it up? I don't know why he's bringing this shit up. I mean, it's just making Morrowind look bad, honestly. Because it gets praised out the ass by people like this motherfucker.
To be good at lockpicking in order to open locks.
And everything you said applies to Skyrim. You can have weaknesses in Skyrim. The only way you're gonna, like, oh, but you level it up. You still increase the skill. Not really. The perks kind of help you be better at the skill. So if you don't put any perk points in the skill you don't want to invest in, then you'll still be shit at it. Or just don't use that fucking skill. Don't pick locks. God damn.
You could learn an alteration spell to open them for you, or you could pay an enchanter to create an...
But look, Morrowind does this. It's like it has a different philosophy and was made during the PS2 era. I'm just gonna bring it up. This is worse than bringing up New Vegas, because at least New Vegas is still in the FPS Fallout genre thing, I guess. Jeez, why are you bringing up Morrowind?
Item that could do it for you. But with the removal of cast on use items in Oblivion, the enchant was no longer an option. With the unlocking spells being one of the many victims of the spell culling in Skyrim, your only option became lockpicking.
Which you don't have to do.
With Skyrim not having classes, you never have a weakness at all.
You can have classes. You can have weaknesses. You could suck at speech. Like, since I've been playing, bro, there are more speech options than I initially thought. And it's to the point where I'm thinking I'm going to have to make another character just specifically for speech just to see if that's the case. And I think it is, because you can literally get robbed by, or get attempted to get robbed by thieves along your way to wherever you're going. They'll just show up and ask you to hand over your valuables, or else I'll gut you like a fish. Pretty much. And you can intimidate, bribe, or persuade. Or just flat out fucking kick their ass.
It falls entirely on your shoulders to arbitrarily invent weaknesses for yourself.
Yeah, it does. Isn't that a better idea than having a system tell you what you are? And what your strengths and weaknesses are? It's just Creetosis' brain is literally a tunnel. It's literally a tunnel. You have to really think narrow-mindedly to think that, that's a good system. I personally don't think so.
But worse than that, it removed options that were available in previous games for dealing with situations.
Oh, like what?
It does add a perk system to substitute for the removal of classes or specialization, but most perks seem to do little more than damage bonuses and, for the most part, other simple effects, which is what raising a skill alone should have done. But it gets worse yet. Along with the removal of classes was the removal...
They did that because just in case if you leveled up a skill by accident, so you don't become good at it. And that like I said, you don't become good at the skill until you put points into it. So if just in case, let's say you had no choice and you roleplayed like you just collect weapons and you use them for the moment, then you drop them, and you don't want to specialize in archery... Well, guess what? You don't have to specialize in archery now, do you, buddy? Especially if you're playing as somebody who just pickpockets other people. And doesn't really delve into the dangerous war or ruins of Skyrim.
Removal of attributes. Similar to Special in the Fallout series, attributes were
They're not the same. This is traditional TTRPG, tabletop, role-playing, character building, and I'm glad Bethesda did change that, because it was getting old. It was so restrictive that I can't believe he's saying that, oh, well, they casualized the game. They casualized it even though I don't have the brain power to limit myself. It's just basically kind of what he said. When he said something about how it fell on your shoulders. It's like, yeah, no shit. You put restrictions on yourself. And I'm going to be honest, if you can't do that in a game, then you have no restrictions in real life. Like, you need to do that IRL, and games sometimes help with that. It helps you kind of, like, restrict yourself in certain things. So you don't do something stupid. I don't know. Jesus fucking Christ,
Aspects
dude.
like strength, agility, willpower, and they were major parts of your character building.
I want everything the same because my autism won't let me branch out and try new things.
Previous games. They impact things such as how much health or stamina you have, magic resistance, and spell cast chance. And each time you leveled up, you had to pick 3 of them to raise, with each one getting a bonus based on how many skills governed by that attribute were raised during that level.
Okay.
Skyrim instead dumbs this down to a simple choice of which colored bar you want to increase.
Why is that a problem? How is that dumbing down?
Red for health, blue for magicka, and green for stamina.
No shit.
This also simplified skills further as well. In prior
I
games,
wonder if he got this from that fucking dumbass video, the dumbing down of Skyrim. Or of the Elder Scrolls, I think, is what it was called. I don't know. Didn't bother to finish that damn video.
a somewhat complex equation was behind how skills operated, which was based on your skill level, the level of the governing attribute, and the level of your luck, which is part of why attributes were so important. Rather than making you...
It happens. Attributes are in the game, dude. Did you even play this? That's what I want to ask, because I just think you made this video intentionally to shit on it during the anniversary. And I think it's obvious at this point. Man. I mean, this is coming from some guy who can't let the Acerthorn thing go. Like, yeah, I made my stupid decision of commenting on his dumbass videos. But you know what? I moved on from that. He didn't.
unique character builds, specialized for certain styles of play, it instead becomes a jack-of-all-trades situation, in which you can do anything without penalty. And
yeah, that's open world. That's what it's supposed to do, Captain Dumb Fuck. God, if you were a captain, dude, you'd be the dumbest motherfucker ever. You would just lead people straight to the ground. Or wait, no, you would have to get the opinions of other captains so you can form your own, because you can't. You need other people's opinions, it seems like.
As such, it becomes pretty bland. Even Morrowind allowed you the use of skills outside of your class. However, they didn't get the boost bonus that skills within your class received, and they did not contribute to your overall level. Furthermore, birth signs have been relegated to being semi-permanent buffs you gain from runestones.
They're attributes.
Rather than a locked-in part of your character build.
They are. And it's good you can change that, because Todd Howard has said many times he wanted the game to be the way you played, and if you fucked up with your character, so you wouldn't have to fucking delete your game again, or delete your save and then start over. That's a blessing. Like, no one's forcing you, dude, to change your attribute. What the fuck?
You no longer have to live with your choice, and you no longer have to think about what would be...
Yeah, you can. You just choose one stone and carry the fuck on. Why is it, like, why are you making this harder than it actually is? Like, you're so stupid,
The most
Creetosis.
beneficial.
Jesus, you don't even understand this game. You're just as bad as Eric Zakharon. Or Sakharon. Fucking A, dude.
To you, because you can just change them on a whim. Further,
Yeah, but you can just choose that stone right here that you're choosing, which is a thief stone, and just continue going down the merry way. But no.
you had an overall specialization, which allowed you to raise your skills faster, as they'd get a bonus when using them. This is also provided by your runestone now, and similarly can be changed at any time.
No. I usually choose one stone and just go. I don't fucking change it midway through. I'm stuck what I give myself. See, Creetosis open world games must overwhelm him so much to the point where he just doesn't understand it. These are attributes. Those stones are attributes. Those are the attributes in Skyrim.
After all, we can't let players get into a situation where they might have to live with the build they made, or potentially...
No, they can. You just clearly didn't play the game. That's what I think, or you didn't play the game that way. You played it probably the way you're considering it, dumbed down, because you seem dumbed down yourself.
Start a new game and consider it more carefully.
Yeah, you could still do that. What are you talking about? These stones are just proving you wrong. You don't need to go back and change shit. You can just live with what you chose. That's what I usually do. But clearly, again, I think this game's too open for your small brain. Seriously, man. Were you dropped on your head when you were born?
Wait, with how awful the opening...
right after you were fucking being pushed out of that pussy?
Tutorial sequence is, maybe this is exactly why Bethesda made it so no choice, challenge, or consequence ever affects you. It all makes sense now.
What do you mean? Well, this one has to do with that criticism. You're making it confusing.
The reason these aspects are so important is because it's supposed to be an RPG.
It is an RPG. These are the attributes in the game. They made them more immersive. Even if you don't think it's immersive, they're still immersive. You interact with these. But you can change them. Because that's what I did. I played it like a dirty casual. I think you did. I really think you played it like an FPS because, again, your small brain cannot comprehend how big and expansive this world is. You're so stupid, man. And I could see why you didn't make the other parts, because you'd probably look even dumber. That's what I'm gonna say. I mean...
How you build your character should be important, because every aspect of this has been dumbed down to the lowest common denominator.
Says the person who's literally showing footage of you using console commands, and from what I've seen, I think you used the TMM, Toggle Map Markers command, from what I just saw there.
It in turn reduces that RPG aspect to a pretty extreme degree, to the point you don't really have to think about anything as far as character build goes.
What are you talking about? Dude. Every time, it was hard for me to actually make another character to play off cam. And the reason for that is because I didn't like the other one, and then I really thought about it. So yes, you need to think. You just don't do it. You just probably open up the game and you're like, I'm gonna go and start swinging. Probably. I wouldn't doubt it, because this footage here just proves that you don't play the game correctly. You just cheat. But I stream it. I'm not watching you stream it.
It's far more casualized, and that's not even
because you played it that way, bro.
Intended as a slight towards casual players.
Nope, you play it that way.
But towards Bethesda's priorities.
No, you're playing it like a casual because I think you are the problem. I mean, I think anybody who says the game is casualized is is more than likely the problem that they're saying is the problem. That, Bethesda casualizes their games. Yeah, it's because of people like you that don't understand it. Jeez.
I understand their reasoning, but the result is still a long-time RPG series being simplified to the point of being an overly simplistic experience. It's Babby's first RPG, and I mean that in more ways than one.
No, I think Morrowind and the earlier RPGs are Babby's first RPG. Don't fucking tell me that. I don't think you've ever played D&D.
We'll get to that as we go along, though.
I doubt you have.
This brings me along nicely to skills as a whole. They've been reduced even further from Oblivion, which, to remind people, stripped back some skills from Morrowind.
What the fuck? Dude, you're just no fun. Is this why your buddies just seem to be on the line?
Weapon skills have been folded down into just 3 skills: one-handed, two-handed, and archery, which makes the weapon pool feel even more bland and unimportant as a result. As if cutting entire weapon types from previous games wasn't bad enough in Oblivion. Speech and Mercantile have been folded into one skill as well, largely because any kind of persuasion or intimidation is extremely rare, to the point of it feeling like it was an afterthought. Granted, Sneak...
Not really. I mean, I've seen, again, more of that shit. I think it's, like, what about the quest where you steal Frost from the Blackbriar resident thing for Sibby's contract? You can fuck the dude over. Like, you can literally scare him off and take the horse for yourself.
Sneak did get split into sneak and pickpocketing, but that seems more like it was done out of necessity due to not having enough stealth skills after cutting acrobatics. Armorer was replaced with blacksmithing because crafting shit is all the craze. Bethesda took axes, split mysticism in twain, and hid the body amongst the other skills.
I don't think you played the game authentically. At all. I don't think so. I want to look at your skills. If they're all maxed out, dude, I can safely say that you didn't play this game. And I'm just going to give you 22 minutes because I'm just done. Like, this is just stupid.
Todd, please.
Oh, hold on, I think I skipped ahead by accident.
Because any kind of persuasion or intimidation is extremely rare, to the point of it feeling like it was an afterthought.
It just seems
Granted,
like rambling
Sneak
nonsense.
did get split into sneak and pickpocketing, but that seems more like it was done out of necessity due to not having enough stealth skills after cutting acrobatics. Armorer was replaced with blacksmithing because crafting shit
acrobatics have anything to do with stealth?
Is all the craze. Bethesda took axes, split mysticism in twain, and hit.
Hold on, did they maxed out?
His games wasn't bad enough in Oblivion.
No, they're not all maxed.
Speech and Mercantile have been folded into one skill as well, largely because any kind of persuasion or intimidation is extremely rare, to the point of it feeling like it was an afterthought.
Console commands.
Granted, Sneak did get split into sneak and pickpocketing, but that seems more like it was done out of necessity due to not having enough stealth skills after cutting acrobatics. Armorer was replaced with blacksmithing because
Sneak is stealth, you fucking twit.
Crafting shit is all
everything you've said up to this point about the game not having attributes. You literally get to change your attribute. Sorry, I hit my mic or the pop filter. You know, you're saying that you can change your attribute at any time. No, you don't. Like, you're wrong there. That's an objective fact that you're wrong. You can literally just play the game and just leave the fucking stones alone. Just choose the one stone, think carefully, and then play on. And just deal with the consequences of having that fucking attribute.
Craze.
Yes.
Bethesda took axes, split mysticism in twain, and hid the body amongst the other skills, while hiding a murder weapon in one- and two-handed skills. Athletics was thrown from a helicopter.
Wouldn't that make sense?
And hand-to-hand was summarily executed, despite the fact the game has numerous items, and as mentioned, a fucking racial ability that boosts hand-to-hand damage. Todd, please? At the very least, they renamed Marksman to Archery to drop any pretense or implication of ranged weapons besides bows existing. So forget being a ninja like in Morrowind.
I don't know, maybe use console commands to be a ninja. Dude, why does this matter? Well, just because.
Even though Dawnguard adds in 4 crossbows to pick from. Careful there.
And what do you mean ranged weapons? You can shoot magic out of your fucking hand, so it's not just bows.
You're breaking the creativity bank with the new weapons, Bethesda.
I know, but you could shoot magic out of your hands, Creetosis. So it's not just bows.
Now, cutting skills alone isn't inherently bad. There are absolutely instances where a skill is nearly useless.
You think it is, though.
Or there's an arbitrary split in between skills when it would have made more sense for them to be combined into one.
Okay.
But as mentioned, that's not even fully the case here. Sneak used to cover pickpocketing, but now there are 2 different skills because Bethesda apparently didn't know what to put in the missing space. So all 3...
Pickpocketing is its own thing. It's not sneaking. Okay. but you can choose the Thief Stone. What are you talking about?
Specializations would have
I gotta
equal
look
skills.
at the Thief Stone. I'm actually gonna do that super quick. I'm gonna see what the benefits, or what the Thief Stone benefits in Skyrim. I mean, if it benefits everything he's saying, what's the issue? The Thief Stone Skyrim. Let's see. The Thief Stone is located... Okay. The Thief Stone improves stealth associate skills 20% faster. The Thief skills are Archery, Alchemy, Light Armor, Lockpicking, Pickpocket, this is from the wiki, by the way, Sneak, and Speech. Okay. What are you crying about, bitch? Bitch boy?
But even then, the problem with that is that magic still outnumbers the other specializations. There are 3 skills that are split
What
between
do you even say, though?
items, and as mentioned, a fucking racial ability that boosts hand-to-hand damage. Todd, please? At the very least, they
Okay,
renamed
hold on,
Marksman
let's
to
get rid of
Archery
this
to
terrible
drop any
name.
pretense or implication of ranged weapons besides bows existing.
Nah, you could shoot magic out of your hand. So did you play the game? That's what I want to know. Because from that, it does not seem like you either gave the game a chance, or you just didn't actually play it, or you used fucking exploits and console commands. So, I have no fucking clue. Speed it up. I don't want to skip. Don't want to skip. Why are you showing the whole thing?
Even though Dawnguard adds in 4 crossbows to pick from. Careful there, you're breaking the creativity bank with the new weapons, Bethesda. Now, cutting skills alone isn't inherently bad. There are absolutely instances where a skill is nearly useless, or there's an arbitrary split in between skills when it would have made more sense for them to be combined into one. But as mentioned, that's not even fully the case here. Sneak used to cover pickpocketing, but now there are 2 different skills because Bethesda apparently didn't know what to put in the missing space, so all 3 specializations would have equal.
You're so stupid. That's what the Thief Stone does. It literally covers pickpocket and lockpicking, and also speech, and alchemy. I don't even know how alchemy has anything to do with being a thief, but whatever. What the fuck ever. Like, what do you mean, dude? I even think Skyrim did it better. From what I'm seeing from the... Because archery is one of those skills that I read. So, what do you mean?
Skills. But even then, the problem with that is that magic still outnumbers the other specializations.
How so?
There are 3 skills that are split between 2 specializations.
See, he doesn't explain anything. He has no idea what he's talking about. Did you play Skyrim? Yay or nay?
Archery, split between stealth and combat, while enchanting and alchemy, 2 skills historically under the magic specialization, are split between combat and stealth respectively. Even cutting mysticism was a stretch. But this just goes to show how important some of these skills really were, and that arbitrary cutting in order to reduce them for the sake of reducing them...
This is all opinion, by the way. Like, him not liking the new skill system is literally his opinion.
isn't
He
a
hasn't
good
really explained anything, and if he did, he didn't do it well.
thing. Most of the spells under mysticism were simply given to the other magic skills, even though it makes no sense for most of them to be where they are now, such as Soul Trap being a conjuration spell, Conjuration being a skill all about summoning creatures to fight for you, and materializing weapons and armor to fight with out of thin air. All of this culminates in the overall experience being diluted, as you can never truly make a specialized character.
You can. You keep saying this. You can make a specialized character, you dumbass. I'm sorry that you just don't understand Skyrim. It's too intimidating for ya. Like, what are you talking about?
Because you can do everything by default with no limits, and with a reduced pool of skills, there's less to focus on. And this is made even worse by the entire combat system, which we'll get to in a bit.
Okay, well,
This
let's
also
switch
had
to the
another
combat
issue,
system.
and that was the fact that it was possible to accidentally overlevel, and as a result, it would make combat encounters far more difficult than they needed to be. For example, if you wanted to spend time to work on blacksmithing, enchanting, and alchemy to get some really good gear before really going out and delving into the world, then good fucking luck, because now every enemy is going to hit like a truck, and you're going to be able to take hits like a wet paper bag. Granted, this could be an issue in the other games too.
No, you do dumbasses ever think of, like, supplying yourselves with healing potions, like a resupply? No? I could tell.
If you prioritize advancing the wrong skills, but this was to a far lesser degree, and in addition to that, you also had the knowledge that you could decide to not have Armorer, for example, as one of your major or minor skills, yet still level the skill up as much as you'd like.
You don't invest in the perk, though. I mean, I think Creetosis saw everything leveling up. He's like, I need to invest in this. You could have played it like an RPG.
But you didn't.
Because it would be useful to repair your gear on the go. You didn't have to worry about skills you don't use much, contributing to your overall level, and therefore making the enemies of the world stronger, since Bethesda seems to think difficulty simply means enemies do more damage and you do less.
Yeah, that's actually hard. It's a difficulty. You could still kill him. I've done it. I guess you couldn't. I guess novice is your difficulty.
Rather than trying to make combat encounters more...
I mean, sorry. I'm so sorry. Console commands is your difficulty.
Varied and interesting. But again, we'll cover that later.
Why do you keep bringing it up then? Why are you keep saying all this stupid shit about we'll bring it up later? Why bring it up at all?
To focus on some particular skills, though.
Bring it up when you're going to talk about it.
Interacting with and using different skills has also changed in some weird ways. Okay. Back in Morrowind...
back in Morrowind.
It was a bit of a tedious skill to use. Even if your skill...
Like Morrowind's system now is comparable. It's not. Different strokes, different folks. Not only that, different games, and different philosophies. This was a different time period. Even Todd Howard worked on this one, too. I don't know if anyone knew that.
Was high enough to understand what effects each ingredient had, you still had to go through your entire inventory of ingredients to find matching effects, so you could make your potions. Oblivion made a significant quality of life change here, where once you pick the first ingredient, it would cull the entire list of ingredients that don't share...
This video is pretty dishonest. If you're going to say that you can't... that it's just so casualized that you can change things off the fly, you don't have to worry about... or you don't think about what character you want to build or what build you want to have, that's dishonest. That's bullshit. And Fudge Muppet proves against that. I'm sorry, they have literally 118 fucking videos, and even if they use mods, you could still spec and build a character without that.
Known effects with that ingredient, thereby making the whole process streamlined and easier to do. By the time Skyrim rolled around, they decided to invent a perk system, which feels like a little more than bloat upon the entire game, which had consequences like being at 100 alchemy, yet no perks selected and thus making your potions completely worthless, even though you should be a master.
That's your fault then. It's perk-based. Dumb shit. This game is too much for you to contain. Clearly.
Yet if you do the perks without changing skill level, those potions can actually break the game entirely, since the formula for creation uses multiplication. Who tested this?
Clearly either you, no, not you. I'm pretty sure the person who tested it and who made it have far more talent than you do.
Most perks, with rare exception, simply did things leveling skills used to do, such as making you more effective in that skill, for example. It feels as though everything the skill had done previously was cut up and resold to us as perks, because I couldn't actually think of enough unique abilities or bonuses to give us instead. This applies to alchemy in that simply leveling up your skill no longer taught you what effects each ingredient
has. Funny, he's not bringing up how... he brought up more Oblivion's, the alchemy thing in Oblivion, but in Skyrim he didn't talk about it because it's a little different, isn't it? It's because you test the ingredients to see what they do. You eat it. You eat it! Eat it! Like, what are you talking about?
Instead,
like, why bring up more Oblivions, but you didn't bring up Skyrim's way of experimenting with alchemy stuff? That's right, because it became more complicated, at least for you.
You have to spend a total of 3 perk points.
This game is so complicated to you, it's telling.
And therefore 3 entire levels, pushing enemy scaling higher, just dedicated to unlocking the ability to find out every effect
the game
an ingredient has without...
or using... he has perks to increase, which I don't think he authentically got.
Trial and error. This means you waste ingredients or throw up your arms in the air and try and deal with a guide online, which itself is a hassle due to the sheer amount of ingredients in this game.
Yeah, you're now making it into a problem. You said they simplified it in Oblivion, but you can't say it here because they didn't. They made it a little too complicated for you. I'm sorry, Cree. I mean, if I could give you a hug and a baby bottle, I probably wouldn't.
And then you don't learn the effects of each ingredient by unlocking
You
these
gotta fucking become a man.
perks. You literally have to eat every single ingredient to learn their full effects.
Yeah?
This turns early alchemy into a fucking chore.
How is it a chore? You were just saying they simplified it in Oblivion. Now it's a problem? This is a pretty RPG-ish, if you ask me.
Even with the quality of life improvements of the crafting
I'm sorry, that Skyrim's too hard for you to handle, man.
table, having each possible effect a potion can have listed at the side, so you can easily find the kind of potion you might want to make. This turns alchemy into a mess of a skill that is absurdly
really?
fucking annoying to deal with early on, though it does become
I'll
profitable
give him 25 minutes. I'm just gonna stop after that.
later. So that
Because I think I've proven enough. Like,
It's
this
into a
guy
whole-
is so fucking dishonest. Like, it's to the point where I don't think he played the game. Or he didn't play it the way it's meant to be. I'm sorry, if you are playing the game in a casual way, that's how it's gonna look. Sorry, didn't know if you knew.
different issue. Oh yeah, none of this even includes the issue of alchemy being hard limited to doing it on a fucking table either. In both Morrowind and Oblivion, you could do alchemy on the go as you please because the items to do so were...
Yeah, well, I will agree with that. I do think they should have left that in Skyrim. I agree with that 100%. Good job. And it's actually I'm done now. But you're still dishonest. I mean, you started the video off really weird by saying that I'm not some weirdo who's trying to tell you to not like a game. But you're pointing out, like, the negative is the fourth thing. Or is the thing we're facing here. You're being negative towards Skyrim. Well, I'm not trying to shit on a game that people love and have played the game to get through fucked up events in their childhood. You have no room to say that shit. I could tell that you've been probably beaten the shit out of as a kid. You're this negative, like, holy fuck.
items in your inventory. I don't know how the fuck we've progressed 200 years in the timeline, only for technology to regress, but here we are.
How so?
This is a really dumb change, and it feels entirely arbitrary.
How is it arbitrary and dumb?
Speaking of
Yep, he just moved on.
arbitrary,
Yep,
the new
he's not talking about it. Alright, I'm done. I'm Sacred G. I'm gonna see how long this was. This probably was about, an hour. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace the fuck out.